Precious! Oh, it's a baby. Did you hear her wheeze? Well, anyway, welcome back to another sort of true crime time with Junebug. That's me. And no, I do not have a big sweat stain. That is a shadow. Cause welcome back to couch. I don't think I'm gonna keep this as a permanent setup because as I'm looking at the screen, I'm remembering why it wasn't that great of a setup. So it's just this video, don't worry. But guess who forgot to do her yearly case update video? Me. So here we are, a month later, a year and a month past the last one. And then last year's was a year and a month past the one before that. So I guess next year, look out for one in September, unless I can get better at remembering to do these. But anyway, as I learned from, pretty sure it was my first case updates video I did, I don't go through every case I've ever done and like say, oh, this one, no news. It saves everyone's time if I just do the ones that have news. Sort of saves my time. I still have to check all of them that I've done. So let us get started. So I generally go in order that I release them. And if you haven't seen these earlier ones, I don't blame you, and I honestly don't recommend it. So the first case with a update, and I put that in quotations because not all of these are like a crack in the case kind of update, just something about them that's newer. So the Mountain Meadows Massacre. Apparently there is a Netflix series called American Primeval, or is it Primeval? I should have looked up how to say it. I meant to and I forgot. And it portrays this, the Mountain Meadows Massacre, and other things around this time. And from this, I saw an article about how the Mormon leaders were upset by this series. Which, are we shocked? I'm not. So that is it about the Mountain Meadows Massacre. I didn't realize they had made that show. Maybe I'm very behind and it's been out, but I'm pretty sure it came out this year. And I think they're in the making of a season 2. Now the next case that has a tiny little update is the case of Delia Green. It's not really an update so much as it has now been 125 years since her murder. And I did that math and I was like, holy crap. And just putting something in that perspective, it's kind of shocking. I'm like, oh, that was an old case. Like when I think of the early 1900s, I obviously think before my time, but I don't necessarily think like people are dead from that. There's like no one left. I don't know how else to put that. So the next case that has an update is with Bobby Franks, and that's with Leopold and Loeb, or Lob, the guy with the unibrow. So I saw an independent, sorry, Susan, it's probably gonna just appear sometimes because I'm on the floor. Yeah, hi! But there is an independent movie called American Criminals that came out on August 2nd on Amazon Prime and Apple TV that was about this case. Again, it's not really news, but it's interesting to see like when older cases still have media created for them. Or if you were particularly interested in this case, you now have something you can go check out to learn more. And then like last year, I also have a slight update for Baby Lindbergh, so Charles Lindbergh's son. Because I have covered technically 2 Baby Lindys on the channel, so I can't just say Baby Lindy anymore. Now I saw there's actually a push to have the ransom notes, because I totally forgot about those, tested for DNA to help solve the case, which, yeah, that seems like a good idea. I don't know why they're just thinking of this now, but I know there's like speculations that the Lindbergh case maybe was an inside job. I think I covered more about that last year. But I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. Do that. How come no one's thought of it yet? Granted, when it first happened, I don't think that was a possibility, but now I feel like, yeah, you definitely could. Also, if Baby Lindbergh were alive today, he would be 95 years old. Again, that's another thing where I'm like, I didn't quite realize that this older case, yeah, is quite old. It's just passage of time. It's a bigger gap than I realized. Now, another thing that has a slight update was the Lavender Scare. That's not necessarily like a real true crime, in quotations, but with the current political climate being the way it is, many fear like a second Lavender Scare is coming or it's starting to happen. I know that was a fear I think last year, but I think this year is a bit more like, so that's all I had for the Lavender Scare. Now there is a sort of update about the Dr. Crippen case who killed his wife, Cora, or she went by Belle. as their stage name. There is a new book that came out called Story of a Murder: The Wives, the Mistress, and Dr. Crippen by, I'm gonna say it looks like Hallie, but it might be Haley Rubenhold, and it came out in March of this year. And it actually follows the stories of Cora, the wife slash Belle, that was her stage name, and Ethel, who was Crippen's mistress and the one who tried to flee with him. So the author spends actually very little time talking about Dr. Crippen and focuses more on the women, which I do think that's quite nice and not something you see that often. Especially since Cora was a victim, like, yeah, let's spend some time on her, shall we? So I only have 2 more little updates to do. It was pretty slow this year, I guess, for at least cases I've covered. I tend to cover more older or solved cases, or cases that haven't had like any news in like 10 years. So I don't tend to do a lot of cases that are ongoing. But the next one is, with a slight update, is the yogurt shop murders. Unfortunately, it's not this to solve the case, but I did see there's a 4-part docuseries that came out on HBO Max this year, which kind of reignited interest in it. And also, a nail salon is now where the shop used to be. So, saw that in an article. It was a very short article. This was pretty much it. So I'm hoping that nail salon owner got a discount. Now the last one, and it has, to me, like the most major update, because it actually kind of does involve the crime. It's a dinky tail. Now that is the case of Kathleen Folbig. And if you remember, she was like falsely accused of killing her 4 young children, and she served 20 years in prison wrongfully. Now, I saw news articles lately, I think this recently just happened. She has been speaking out how she was given $2 million by the state for the wrongful imprisonment of 20 years. She was given $2 million. And she calls it a slap in the face for being wrongfully convicted of killing her 4 babies and then spending 2 decades in prison when she didn't do the killing. She's essentially a very unlucky woman. And they gave her $2 million. So every decade she served, she got $1 million. She's not in America, I believe it's an Australian case. But yeah, I could see how that's a bit of a slap in the face. Now, $2 million for me, I can make that stretch my life for a lifetime, baby. Unless I got a disease or a bad medical thing, because I live in America. But if I just lost 20 years of my life and lost all my children due to other circumstances, yeah, I could see how that would very much be a slap in the face. Because I don't really have a foot to stand on, because as a person who didn't go through that, I'm like, $2 million sounds wonderful. I would take it now. But I haven't gone through what Kathleen went through. So I'm kind of hoping she can get more money in the future, but I think if she wants more, she would have to go to court and do a whole Kathleen against the state thing. But that is it. Those are the main updates I had for cases I've covered. Not a ton this year, but at least the Kathleen one, I'm like, oh, this actually kind of pertains to the case. If there's anything I missed, let me know. But next time, I have no idea what I'm doing. Because I forgot I was having to do this, so my brain's kind of a hot mess right now. But thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Bye!